morning. Wonderful day out there. Thank you for joining me this morning for our gentle yoga class. So it's going to be a nice, stretchy class. Oh, hi Katrina. Yeah, I kind of need it too as well this morning. Coming through. Oh, hi Eric. Good morning. So if you have been joining my Zoom classes, I've been really enjoying seeing your faces at the same time as you can see mine. So it's been wonderful. And if you do want to join this week, we've got Vinyasa Flow on Tuesday and Ashtanga Flow on Thursday. They're both 7 o'clock in the evening. So if you do want to join, then drop me a message and I can send you the links to join. And it's just it's really nice little community. Almost feels like you're kind of in a studio, but not. And it's just been really, really nice to do those classes. So if you do want to join, just let me know. But yeah, I hope you're all well. And we'll just get straight into it. Let's come to lie down on our backs. Start nice and easy. Start lying down. The best position in life. And so just getting comfortable, whatever feels comfortable for you. So maybe you have your knees pointing towards the ceiling like me. Maybe you're just in a Shavasana position. And just close your eyes. And just let go completely of your body. Just allow it to settle. Allow it to be heavy. And before we start, we'll do a quick body scan. So from the crown of the head, just scanning the body all the way down and just looking for any tension. And then just allowing the tension to melt from the body. So checking around the forehead, around the eyebrows, the eyelids, the back of the eyes, and then continuing down. Just going nice and slowly. And as you do this body scan, as you do this body scan, just notice any areas that are feeling particularly tense this morning. Or if there's any areas of discomfort in your body this morning. And when you finish, when you're at the toes, just draw your awareness to your natural breath. And let's start to take control of the breath. So just start to deepen those inhales. And see if you can slow down the breath. Slowing the breath enough that you can really feel that pause between the inhale and the exhale and the inhale. We say in yoga that between the inhales and the exhales is the witness, the seer, the unchanging consciousness that resides inside us all. The emptiness within. And in really focusing into that space between the breaths, we realize there are actually 4 parts to the breath. The inhalation, the retention of the inhalation, the exhalation, and the retention of the exhalation. Maybe starting to add a subtle sound to the breath. And finding a little bit of a restriction in the back of the throat. And the Ujjayi breath, and the sound of the sea. And can you lengthen the exhale? Make it a little bit longer than the inhale now. The exhale, bring in a calmness to the body, to the mind. Working into our parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest part of the nervous system. And as you lie here with your breath, and just again realizing that the breath is here at any point, any time that you need it. If you're feeling a bit anxious or the emotions are a little bit heightened, you can just sit with the breath, and just a few full exhales can really help to ground you again and to bring stillness to the mind. Keeping your awareness on the breath. We're going to reach the arms overhead, extend the legs, and take a deep stretch. Let's try to reach the fingertips and the toes as far away from each other as you can. Maybe the lower back lifts from the mat. Maybe you find that opening through the abs, through the chest, through the shoulders. Can you find a little bit of strength through your legs, really engage in the quadriceps, engage in the calves. Can you find strength in the arms? Really spread the fingers. And then pull yourself into a little ball, draw the knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Maybe a little rock from side to side. And dropping the feet back to the mat. Let's bring the hands by the side of the body. Work the shoulder blades under the back. Just check that the knees are over the ankles and the feet are hips width apart. We're going to come into some bridge pulses. Not taking it too far to begin with. As we inhale, we're just going to lift the hips up, not very high at all. And as we exhale, lowering those hips back down. Inhale, lifting the hips up. Maybe a little bit higher this time. Again, nothing too crazy. And exhale, lowering back down. And continue to move to the rhythm of your own breath. I'm using my voice. And as you go through these movements, again, we're just starting to connect movement with breath. And I want you to notice how you feel. Notice how those hips feel. And notice if your state has already started to change since the start of the class. Maybe not, maybe the mind is still wandering. Or maybe you're well and truly in the moment. And on your next inhale, we're going to lift the hips up and we're going to hold. So squeeze in your glutes. Let's bring in a little bit of energy into the hips. And allowing gravity to move the energy from the hips, from the legs, up the body. And on your next exhale, slowly lowering those hips back towards the mat. Let's heel toe the feet as wide as the mat. Take the arms out. And we're just going to window wipe for the legs. So dropping both knees over to the left. Bring them back through center. And both knees over to the right. And back through center. Over to the left on the exhale. Back through center on the inhale. And over to the right on the exhale. Back through center. Let's heel toe the feet back in towards each other. Give yourself a squeeze. Bringing the hands underneath the thighs. I'm going to start to rock and roll. Hands underneath the thighs. I'm going to start to rock and roll. Just massaging the spine. Maybe go all the way back to the shoulders. Maybe coming all the way up to the sit bones. Maybe there's pops and clicks in the back as you do this. It's all good. And on your next rock, or rock up to seated and find a comfortable position. So as always, you can sit on a block. If sitting cross-legged isn't comfortable for you at all, you can just straighten the legs in front of you. Let's work into the neck a little bit here. So let's bring the hands onto the knees. And let's drop the chin to the chest. Just check that the spine is nice and tall here. And the shoulders are relaxed. And this is activating your Jalandhara. And this is activating your Jalandhara Bandha, your throat lock. The same massages the thyroid glands and aids in good thyroid function. And gently lifting the gaze, dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder. And just feeling the stretch through the neck into the left shoulder. If you want to take it a little bit further, you can walk the fingertips out. You can even lift the left arm up if that feels okay. And bringing that left hand back to the knee, bring head back through center, and drop the left ear to the left shoulder. It doesn't matter if you've gone the opposite way. And again, maybe walking those right fingertips out. Maybe lifting the arm. And again, just noticing how the neck feels. And slowly releasing. Right hand comes back to the knee, head comes back to center. Let's take the arms out to a T. Reaching through the fingertips, soften the shoulders away from the ears. And chin in slightly so the neck is nice and tall. And again, we're just bringing energy up the body into the shoulders here. Let's make some rotations with the wrists. Doesn't matter which way. And just roll the wrists out. And try to find your full range through those wrists. And maybe there's pops and clicks in the wrist. And taking those rotations the opposite way now. Okay, nice and slowly, nice and controlled. And as you're doing this, just checking that the shoulders don't start to come up towards the ears. Keep them nice and relaxed. Good. And taking the palms so they're facing away from you and press as if you're pressing into a wall either side of you. And maybe one wrist feels a little bit better than the other. One wrist maybe feeling a little bit tight. And that's all good. Again, just noticing, just witnessing that. And taking the hands the other way. So palms facing towards you, and again, pressing through the backs of the wrists. And hopefully bring in some heat. And hopefully bring in some heat. Now into the shoulders and into the arms. And into the arms. And slowly release, hands onto the knees. So seated cat-cow. Let's inhale, send the pelvis forward, heart forward, lift the gaze, look up. And as we exhale, tuck the pelvis under, round through the spine, chin comes into the chest. Inhale as you move the pelvis forward, open the chest, lift the gaze. Then exhale round through the spine. And again, continue to do this now to the rhythm of your own breath. Just really trying to keep that breath slow, controlled. And again, keeping the awareness in the body. So just noticing how the body feels. And maybe noticing that the body starts to loosen up as you continue to go through these movements. One of my students asked me, she was doing a little morning routine. She woke up, just a 10-minute morning routine, and she said, is it yoga or is it just stretching? And I said, if you're paying attention to how you feel in anything that you do, then it's yoga. So you could be washing up and doing yoga. If you're focusing totally on that washing up. And on your next inhale, we'll come back to center. Again, find length through the spine. Let's take a little bit of side flexion. Bring the left hand out. Take that right arm high. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, just reach it out to the left. And again, maybe that elbow comes down. Maybe it doesn't this morning. It's completely fine. Wherever you're at, you just want to feel that stretch. And just check that the arm isn't bent here. You're really trying to find length through the arm and length through the side body. Maybe you're lifting the gaze into the ceiling, getting a little bit of a neck stretching. Maybe not. If it doesn't feel good in your neck, it's all good. I'm really trying to ground down through that outer hip. Don't let it lift. And inhale, come back through center, taking it to the other side, right hand down. Inhale, left arm high. And exhale into that side flexion. And again, maybe one side feels tighter than the other. And this is really normal, totally normal. We quite often have one dominant side, which is usually the tighter side. We use it more often. And inhale, coming back through center. We'll take a little twist. Let's bring right hand onto the left knee, left hand behind the back. It doesn't matter if you've gone opposite sides, we're going to twist both sides anyway. Let's take an inhale. And exhale, little twist, gazing over the shoulder. Again, you're using that hand on the knee to create a little bit of force, not too much. Let's stay here. We'll take some deep breaths into the upper back. I want you to use that breath to see if you can find a little bit of space between your vertebrae, space between your ribs, through those intercostal muscles. And you use the breath to move you deeper. Inhale, create space in the body, it finds length. And then exhale, inhale to come back through center. Switching to the other side. Exhale. Again, focusing on that breath. Taking it into the upper back. And inhale to come back through center. Let's plant the hands and come to a tabletop position. So draw your navel in, find a strong tabletop. And we'll send the right foot back, ball of the foot on the mat, and just pressing through that right heel. Just feeling that stretch to the back of the right leg. Maybe some little pulses here. And pressing into the right hand. Let's lift the left hand up. Take it around. Again, try to find full range through the shoulder, through the upper back. Bringing it forward. Inhale to take it high. Reaching around, still extending through that right leg. Inhale, bring it forward. Bring it round. And bringing the hand back to the mat. Bring the right knee back to the mat. Send the left foot out. Again, maybe some pulses through that left heel. And again, just noticing, just witnessing. How do you feel? Are you still in control of your breath? And again, pressing back through that heel, pressing into the left hand. Let's inhale the right arm forward in nice big circle through that shoulder. Bringing it back through. Inhale to take it high. Reaching through the hand, through the fingertips. Exhale to bring it down back to the mat. One more inhale. Exhale. And bringing the hand back to the mat. Bring the left knee back to the mat, big toes touch. Send the knees wide. Sit back, coming into a wide-legged child's pose. So forehead to the mat. Reach in again through those fingertips. Let's try to get the arms straight here. So let's make it active. You can come onto fingertips. See if you can wrap the triceps under and see if you can find strength through your upper back. So really press the hands down. And see if you can elevate through the shoulder blades. And really trying to bring the biceps towards the ears. And slowly, slowly bringing the hands back towards you. Knees come back underneath the hips. We'll tuck toes under, send hips back and up as we find our downward facing dog. And just taking those legs for a walk. Noticing how those legs feel. Maybe working a little bit more through the side body, dropping the hips to the right. Pressing through that left hand. And then switching, dropping hips to the left. Pressing through the right hand. And with our feet hips width apart, we'll walk the hands towards the feet to the back of the mat. Bend the knees as much as you need to, catching hold of your big toes, coming into a forward fold. Find length through your spine first. Keep the thighs and the stomach connected if you can. And then as you exhale, you just pull the crown of the head down, pulling on those toes. Again, if the hamstrings are still, the legs are still feeling quite tight this morning, keep a bend through the legs. It's better to be here. Just keeping a little bit of movement. It helps make it less intense. And releasing those toes, hands back to the mat. Walk those hands forward and find your downward facing dog. And again, if those legs are tight, bend the knees. Can you find that length through the spine? Pulling the vertebrae apart with every inhale.
And look into your hands. Inhale as you walk those feet forward. Keep the feet hips width apart. One to the fingertips, find length through the spine, halfway lift. Maybe your halfway lift is here. Straight leg, straight back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, straight leg, straight back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Rooting down through your feet. Inhale to come all the way up to stand. Reaching the arms overhead, finding length through your spine. Now bringing hands heart center. Soften the shoulders. Maybe closing the eyes. And again, just taking a moment to notice if anything has moved in the body, if anything has changed. And just noticing if any tension has crept back into the body. Maybe into the face, into the shoulders. And gently opening the eyes. Inhale, raising your prayer. Again, finding length through your spine, like an up behind the thumbs. And exhale, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold again. Preparing to rise, root through the feet. Inhale to come all the way up. Extending through the fingertips. And exhale, folding again. Deep controlled breaths. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root through the feet. Inhale to rise. Open through the chest. Find length through your spine. Exhale, fold again. A subtle knee bend as you come into that fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Root through the feet. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold once more. Inhale, halfway. Preparing to step the left foot back. Step into the right foot and send the left foot to the back of your mat. Drop the back knee, finding a low lunge. So we want the right knee over the ankle. We're going to do not a lazy lunge. So we want that left knee underneath the hip. You keep the back toes tucked under for this one. I'm going to really connect that right foot to the mat. Bring the hands onto that right knee. So really press that right foot down. And then I want you to think about tucking your tailbone under. Rounding through your lower back. Pulling your core in. Squeezing your glutes. And feeling hopefully a nice release through the front of that left leg. So really round the spine here. And keep the work. Keep tucking that tailbone under. And pulling the front of the hips up. And the back of the hips down. Keep pressing through that right foot. Good. Keeping that work. Just start to lean forward slightly. So keeping that tailbone tucked. Maybe it's not that much. Just increasing the stretch through that left hip. Through the front of that leg. Good. And we're going to come into a lazy lunge now. So stepping that right foot a little bit further forward if you need to. If that felt good and you want to stay there, stay there. Otherwise, the right knee over the ankle and that left knee back a little bit more now, top of the foot on the mat. Hands onto that thigh again. And a little bit of a heart opener, a little bit of a back bend now. So sending those hips nice and low. As you open up into the upper back. Think of drawing the shoulder blades together and down the back here. If you're going well, maybe you want to reach up with those arms.
Finding length through your body, hips sink low, fingertips reach high. And slowly coming back to more of a neutral spine. So tucking the tailbone under slightly, left hand onto that right knee and reaching back with the right hand to find again another twist. Again, just try to keep the shoulders over the hips as you twist here. And again, just being aware of the breath and how the breath affects the twist here. Maybe you're gazing back towards that right hand. And slowly coming back to center, we'll drop the hands. Pick the back toes up. Send the right foot back to meet the left and find downward facing dog. Stepping both feet forward. Again, feet hips width apart. Extend through your spine, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root through the feet. Come to stand, rising up. And exhale, folding forward again. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, step into that left foot now and send the right foot back. Coming into that low lunge. And again, right knee underneath the right hip to begin. Pressing that left foot nice and firmly into your mat. Tuck your tailbone under, hands onto that left thigh. Again, just find length through your spine first. And then really start to work that tailbone down. Pull the navel in, round through the spine. Find that work in the front of that right leg. Again, it might be a little bit intense here. Just find where it feels comfortable for you, so don't push it too much. Just on that edge of discomfort and holding it there. And breathe into that tension. And again, maybe you can pull the front of the hips up a little bit more. Maybe you can roll the tailbone under a little bit more. You find a little bit more work as that tension eases. Keep trying to find that tension. And you're coming back to a little bit more of a neutral spine. We'll walk that left foot forward a little bit more. We'll send the right knee back and find our lazy lunge. So top of the foot on the mat. Hands back onto that left thigh. Sink those hips nice and low. So now you're going to feel the stretch more so. You're going to feel it in the quadriceps still, but you're going to feel it more so in the hip flexors, in the front, very front of that right hip. And again, let's find some length through the front of the body. So draw everything up into the ribs. See if you can open through the ribs a little bit here. Use those hands, if you wish, to press back, to open the heart up. See if you can pull the shoulder blades together, finding strength through the back. And if you're going well, maybe you're reaching those arms high. And again, just staying in control of the breath here. Using the exhale to sink a little bit deeper into those hips. Using the inhale to coming back up to a neutral position in the pelvis. Right hand on the left knee. And then swing that left arm back to find a twist on the left side. And again, use that hand to pull on that knee. And that will help to open the upper back. Nice deep breaths into the upper back, in between those shoulder blades. And then coming back to the top of the mat, plant the hands. Inhaling
And exhale, dropping knees to the mat. Knees underneath the hips. Tops of the feet on the mat, making our way into our extended puppy. So walking those hands forward. As always, if it's a little bit too intense for the shoulders, you can always come back into that child's pose. I'm just working towards the child's pose. So somewhere in between puppy and child is good. And a way to keep strength in the arms as well. So pressing those hands down, really trying to resist the floor. Don't allow the elbows to come out to the side. Can you pull the elbows towards each other? Can you wrap the triceps under? And again, elevate through the shoulders, press. Maybe the forehead comes to the mat, maybe it doesn't. Just keep those breaths going and feel the opening through the front of the body as well. So feel it in the abs. Feel it in the chest. And coming up slightly, tuck the tailbone under slightly, just descend it a little bit more into the shoulders. And we're going to thread the right hand underneath the left. So coming into a little bit of a twist. So right shoulder comes down, back of the hand onto the mat, and press the back of the hand down. Keep extending through that left hand. And have a wiggle around, find where feels good in your body. And press it into that left hand still. We're going to bring the right hand back, reach it forward, and thread the left arm underneath the right. The left shoulder comes down. Again, have a wiggle around. We keep the work in that right arm, so keep pressing through that right hand and keep pressing the back of the left hand into the mat. And bringing that left hand back through, finding that extended puppy again. And slowly walk the hands back towards you. We're going to bring the right knee forward to find our swan pose. Square the chest and the hips off to the top of the mat as best as you can. I'm going to press, as always, through the ball of the left foot, just to keep a little bit of work, a little bit of tension through that right leg. And breathe in nice and deeply, trying to relax. As always, if that right hip is lifted quite a lot off the mat, you can use a cushion, a towel, or another rolled up yoga mat underneath that right hip, just to give you some support here. If you feel that you're rolling off to the left, again, just keep the work, keep pressing that left hip down and trying to bring the body back in line with the top of your mat. If you're going super well here, you can come into a little bit of a quad stretch, bending the left knee and reaching back with the left hand to take hold of the left foot. Maybe bringing the hands onto the top of the foot and pulling the heel towards the buttock. And depending on how tight you are in your quadriceps, feeling pretty tight in my quadriceps this morning.
If you want, you can hook the elbow, hook the foot into the elbow. If you could take not feeling very comfortable for me this morning in this posture, but if it's feeling comfortable for you, then go ahead and take your mermaid posture. Otherwise, just here is fine. And slowly, slowly releasing from that posture. We'll tuck the back toes under. We'll just switch the legs. So send the right foot back and bring the left knee forward. Again, finding that swan on the left side. So getting settled in first. And again, using whatever props that you need underneath that left hip if it's floating up. Nice deep breaths. This is such a fundamental posture in the yoga practice, in my opinion. It works into your external rotation in the one hip, so in this case the left hip, and it works into the front of the right hip as well, so into those hip flexors, the quadriceps. And if you're here again, pressing through the ball of the left foot to add a little bit of work into that left leg. Hopefully you'll feel that work all the way up into that left hip. Keep pressing the hands into the mat. I'm trying to draw the shoulder blades together, shoulders down the back. And again, if you're going super well and you want to add a little bit more into that back leg, you can bend the right knee. I'm sure this side is going to be even worse for me this morning. Reaching back and taking hold of the foot. And maybe staying here, this is all good. Or again, you can bring the hand onto the top of the foot and pull that heel down. And again, just finding your limit. Don't worry about what I'm doing or what you think you should be doing in this posture. If it's painful, if it's just not feeling nice, if it's not a nice release, then don't do it. Again, you can be hooking the elbow into that foot if that feels nice. You can be taking that bind if that feels nice. Well, for me, it didn't feel very nice this morning at all. Too much pressure in the front of that right leg for me. So again, it's always listening to your body and knowing that from day to day things will change. Don't try to force what happened yesterday into today, and vice versa. Knowing that some days you've got more energy, some days your body's a little bit more open, and some days you just need to rest, you just need to back off and just do some breath work. And slowly releasing. We'll bring the hands back to the mat. We'll come back into downward facing dog. And slowly dropping the knees to the mat, swinging the legs around and finding a comfortable seat. So we'll work into the hips a little bit more. So let's come into double pigeon or double pigeon variation. So right leg or right shin parallel with the top of your mat. The left leg just tucked in behind the right leg. And again, you can be on a block here or a towel. If your hips are feeling pretty open this morning, you can come into your double pigeon, so bringing the right foot on top of the left. So you can see for me, my hips are feeling pretty tight this morning. I have this gap. You can fill that gap, or if you're like this, then I would suggest don't come into double pigeon. Just bring the right foot in front of the left. And option one is just to sit here, press with the ball of the feet. And just to add a little bit of strength through the legs, protecting the knees in this posture. If you're going well, you can start to move forward. Just try not to round the spine here. Just try to keep the chest open. I'm really working on pulling the hips back. Nice deep breaths. Again, this can be a really intense posture, especially if you're not naturally open in external rotation, which is me. When I came to yoga, I had zero external rotation in my hips. They just didn't move. I had to work really hard to open my hips, and it's still something that if I fall off my practice, then my hips and my shoulders, they soon start to close up. And it's just notice can make you more open in the hips or more closed in the hips. Your genetics can mean that you have a tighter chest or a tighter back, or maybe that you have curvature of the spine as well. So again, it's all about noticing your patterns, your movement patterns. And we'll come all the way back up. We're going to switch the legs. So the left leg is in front now, or the left leg is on top if you're going for your double pigeon. Okay, some days double pigeon not so good for me. And today is one of those days, feeling very tight. You can see there's a bit of a gap there between my knee and my foot. Very tight in the hips. But again, just a few moments in this posture, and hopefully for me and for you, those hips will start to free up a little bit, feel a little bit more comfortable. Again, don't forget to press with the balls of the feet. Keep a little bit of activation there. And again, the hips pull back and the heart moves forward. You can be here if you wish, all the way down. For me, I'm just going to stay here today. And just breathe. Try to release the tension that I'm feeling. So if the left leg is on top, you're going to feel it more in the left hip. The left hip's getting more work. The right leg is on top, the right hip's getting more work. And again, maybe just sitting in a cross-legged position for you this morning is tough enough. So if that's you, that's you. You stay here and you just work from this point. You never force. Especially in these kind of positions, we always have to be careful of the knees. Especially if you are tight in the hips, it's usually the next joint down that picks up the slack. So you can damage your knees, and I've damaged both my knees earlier on in my practice. But you can damage your knees if you have tight hips. So it's better to, err on the side of safety, caution, and not push. Use other techniques, other postures to open into your hips before trying things like double pigeon. And try to sit a lot more, spend a lot more time sitting cross-legged. That can just be a natural and nice passive way to open up your hips, and also working into your core strength as well, developing the ability to just sit upright without backrest. And again, just notice as you're in this posture, if any tension has crept into the jaw, just notice if there are any strong emotions that are being released as you open your hips. I say it all the time, but it's where we store a lot of our emotions in the hips. So, sometimes we get emotional releases from working in the hips. And I do think that in the future, the way we deal with mental health is going to change, so that we use not only talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, things like this, but we also use the body because we're finding that the memories from events in our lives are stored in the brain, and the emotions of those memories are actually stored in the body, in the muscles and the fibers of the body. So yeah, I think it's going to change the way that we approach dealing with things from our past in the future. So watch this space. Not that I'll be doing it. Totally not qualified to do any of that kind of stuff. But hopefully, just by practicing with me, you get some kind of release from past traumas and things. Just by again connecting in the present moment to your body and to your breath, and just knowing that every and slowly we'll release. Let's straighten the legs. Let's just give the legs a little shake, a little wiggle. Hopefully those hips feeling a little bit softer, a little bit looser. Let's take the feet forward and let's come to lie down with control. Tuck in your tailbone under. And coming all the way down to a lying down position. And let's have another stretch. Let's reach those arms overhead. Let's send the toes, the fingertips as far away from each other as we can. Let's find strength through the legs. Squeeze the legs. Hug the bones with the muscles. And you'll find strength through the arms. Find length through your abdominals, through your spine. And when you're ready, relax. Take the feet wide and bring the arms either side of the body. And take your final rest in your Shavasana. Closing your eyes. And just returning the breath to your subconscious. With every exhale, just feel the body relax a little bit more. And just allow the body to be heavy. Surrender completely. And just appreciating the stillness. And as always, feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need this morning. A good Shavasana is about 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes. A lot of the time in classes we don't have a chance to offer a good Shavasana. And if you're doing your own practice at home, it's always good to just have that stillness. Allow yourself to do nothing. Something that a lot of us need to learn in this busy life we've all become accustomed to. And hopefully during lockdown we've learned to appreciate that sometimes being forced to do less than we usually do actually is quite nice. If you do want to come out of your Shavasana, just start to deepen the breath again. And start to wiggle the fingers and toes to bring movement back to your body. Maybe rotating your wrists and your ankles, moving your limbs. And again, when you're ready, bring your feet, your legs together and take your arms overhead for another full body stretch. And draw your knees into your chest to give yourself a cuddle and show some self-love and some appreciation for all you are, all you've become. Knowing that all is good and you're exactly where you should be in your life. Rock into your right hand side when you're ready. And joining me in a seated position, taking your time. And when we're there, we'll bring our hands into Anjali Mudra at our heart center. Let's reconnect with the breath. Close the eyes. Finishing with the sacred sound Om. Might do the mantra as well. Let's take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Om. Purnamidam. Purnat. Purnamadachyate. Purnasya. Purnamidaya. Purnamivavashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising our hands to our heads for kindness in our thoughts, to our hearts for kindness in our actions, and to our lips for kindness in our words. From my heart to your heart, always. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope you all feel a little bit more open in your body. Oh, thank you, Sally. Wonderful, as always, to have you practicing with me. Enjoy being alive in 2020. I shall see some of you in the week. As always, if you have questions about your practice, or if you want a one-to-one, a private session with me, or if you want to join any of my outdoor classes or my Zoom classes, then please do get in touch. Oh, lovely session. Thank you, Eric. It's wonderful to have you join me, and I'm sure I will be seeing you in the week anyway. But yes, thank you for joining me, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Love to you all.